Hey guys, it's me, Zazo. I'm back with another video to go over every Heal Powers loadout for 2026 with the 2 trays. So we're gonna start with with Eleg, and let's start with the allies. Y'all already know John Constantine, Flash. You use Flash for the Walk It Off. Black Adam for Supercharged Generator. If you don't use a Supercharged Generator, that's cool. Go ahead and run Oracle Bot or a Cyborg. Those are gonna help you with power. Probably best in slot next. If you don't need power, go ahead and run static. You need to be able to use the electrifying passive. That's gonna pretty much work as the transformation card. And you can get like a little cola. There's a cola that does this effect for you to actually get this. So even if you're not electric, you can still get this passive to work for you. Alright, now that we've talked about allies, let's go over gear and artifacts, okay? All heal gear for sure, okay? Two very important things. Ultimate head mod for supercharge, 15%. This is very strong. The reset on the back. For most of the powers, they have a shield 10k. This is going to reset the shield 10k. Most of us are either super speed or maybe acrobatics. Even flight and skimming, the supercharges are actually a shield. So, and it's a 25. Those reset. So make sure you're running this as the back mod. You're gonna run around fortified assault. You can run focus restoration. Yes, you can run it, but understand what DLCs you are in. We're in the Lantern DLCs. Lantern DLCs have no respect for any of the players. You get grasping hand across the map. You get your life. What is it called? The life stealer puts his hand in the air. It's on the whole group. There's like pretty much no avoiding it. You're getting lunged. I mean, tanks are getting more aggressive. They're getting better, so they're pulling more ads, and sometimes they can't get everything, and you end up getting hit. Run this as your neck mod. Back mod. The chest mod. You can run what you want. I prefer reserve tank. If you're running Oracle Bot or you're running Purple Healing Ray, the more power you have, the more power this chest mod will help you get back when you proc Purple or Oracle Bot. And I showed that in one of my videos in the back. So make sure you go through my channel to see what I'm talking about. And if you want to see it in action, I could show you on stream. You just gotta pull up to the stream. The rest of these mods do not matter. The foot mod really doesn't matter, but if you're doing maybe a feat, no def, whatever, this might be best in slot in terms of, oh, tank lost aggro or somehow he doesn't have aggro. It's either the top DPS or the healer that is second on the aggro chain. And if you get lunged, you're gonna send the boss flying or the ads flying, and this will save you. You got a breakout trinket. This is very important. I mean, if you haven't been running BNE, you know what I'm talking about. Where those life stealers put their hand in the air and you get hard stunned. You literally will miss a heal because you get hard stunned. And this is probably the best way. This is probably the best ability to use to break out and straight heal going forward. And then obviously you got your supply drop. You got your orbital, you got your heal trinket. Damn, we went over the gear. Let's go over the arts. Arts is purple, page, EOG, Quizlet, and scrap. You got Quizlet because Quizlet, at the bottom of it, of Quizlet, you get the supercharge, the 1%. You get the 1%. So that's why you run Quizlet. You can take Quizlet off, and you can run book. If you don't have book, you can run manacles. If you don't got something like this, you could run Starheart. If you don't got Starheart, you could run Clarion. If you don't got Clarion, run Demon Fang. If you ain't got any of those, run Philosopher's Stone. If you ain't got that, run Dead King Scepter. I'm running out of options here. If you don't have that, run Isis. If you don't have that, run Transformation card. If you don't have that, run the Strat card. If you don't have that, run Omega Hedron. And if you don't have that, I really don't know. Just run anything. Almost anything works. Like this Quizlet is not the important art, okay? When it comes to the arts, the important arts are Scrap EOG, Purple Page. And if I'm going from first to last in terms of healing, you're going to want Page, Purple, and then EOG, and then Scrap. And then if I'm going in order of what I want when it comes to EOG healing, you want a 200 Scrap, you want a 160, at least a 160 EOG, and then I still want at least a 200 Page, and I'll take a 160 Purple, and then I would not have Quizlet if you can't get it 200. If it's not 200, it's not worth having. So I want my Scrap 200, I want my Page 200. I'll take a 160 EOG because it still gives you the same supercharge as long as it's 160, or it's the same duration. It's still 6 seconds. Once this art hits 160, it's 6 seconds. But once you get it 200, you get the 5% resto and dom and health. That's what you get at 200. It's the resto dom health being 5%. And then I'd take a 160 purple if I had to, and then I'd have a 200 Quizlet. So it'd be 200 for this art, 200 for this art, 200 for this art, 160 for these two. If you can't afford to get all of them 200. And like I said, you definitely want the Scrap 200. And if for some reason you do not have Scrap 200, your chest mod needs to be extended supercharge, and that's if you don't have a 200 Scrap, because once you get a 200 Scrap, it overrides the extended supercharge, and it literally pretty much tells you that on Scrap. It says restore 7% max supercharge after using supercharge ability. This does not stack with extended supercharge. Now I wish it did, but hey, that's where they kicked this. Now that we've done talking about allies and all that, let's go straight into the loadout and the spec. Okay, we made some changes, and remember, this pretty much applies for like all powers. When I get to the other powers, I'm just going to really just show the loadout, tell you a little bit about it, and then that's gonna be that. If you don't have 1,000 skill points, try and max out the resto. Try to get a 100 in the dom, maybe 100 in the might and power. I don't think you really need to put things in the might and power because we're running purple healing ray already, and you got purple healing ray, and all of the arts that we're running as healer pretty much give us 5% power. So as you see, I got plus 15% power. I mean, you got a troll, you got a cola, you got a supply drop. If you really struggling with power, put points in the power, but I don't really struggle with power ever when I heal, and I have more skill points than most of you, and I don't even put skill points in the power. I got 92. Most of y'all are maxing this out. Now, yes, the power is important, and it's even more important if you care about getting, power back from purple healing ray with the chest mod, but you don't really need that much power. That's what the troll is for. They have a supercharge. They got their troll shield. They got not Isis, but the Shazam iconic. They got word of power. They got these two abilities. They got Hecate. They should be able to keep your power up, but like I said, if you're struggling with power, do not get any points in dom. Go straight into power. All right, and this will go into my next point. Right. Let me go over the loadout real quick. So the loadouts for most powers are gonna be a 10k, a supercharged generator, a 25. You don't really need to run Starbolt now. Now that I was testing on the spawn target, you could kind of just run 225s and 210ks and it'll work out. But for my playstyle, I prefer to be running Starbolt. I mean, there's so much downtime in almost every raid. If you know what you're doing and know when to heal, there's a lot of downtime, and you don't need to be healing 100% of the time. You can, but you don't have to, because the game doesn't make content where you need to heal, if you understand what I'm saying. So most powers, priority heal, group heal, whatever you want really. You don't have to run Starbolt. I will be running Starbolt. You could run a 25, your supercharged generator, one of your 10Ks. I'ma just call this a useful ability, and then you got your shield. I got the life shield because I went ahead and bought the event out. If you don't have life shield, just use your regular shield. It's the same difference, okay? My strongest 8-man heal for my power is gonna be galvanized, and then you got electrogenesis. This is also pretty much an 8-man heal. So I got an 8-man heal over time, an 8-man burst heal, 8-man burst heal, and this also acts as page, and this is specifically for elect. And then I got a 25 down here just because might as well run 225 so you could just have straight. I could always have the EOG art up and running the whole time. And the way it looks like is when I go into the second bar, I could clip the whole set. I could clip the entire second bar, and that's pretty much what that looks like. You just clipping the whole second bar. I don't have to think about what I'm hitting. I could just go in there, boom, boom. I could do my healing, come down, galvanize, do my healing, come down, galvanize, and that's pretty much what it's gonna look like. You ain't gonna have to think about the second bar. You can literally clip the whole bar. That is why I put those abilities in that order. You could just clip the bar. So that's what we got for elect, and like I said, it's gonna be really the same thing for every power. And then the last thing I didn't go over was the generator. So listen to me when I talk about the generator. You 100% want power. You can choose between Dom and Resto. Alright? Dom and Resto you can choose between. Right now, with the current meta, and if we're going based off of B&E and other content, shields are extremely important right now. So that is why I am spec Dom. But it is okay if you are Resto. It's almost the same difference, okay? I got 16,000 more Dom over 16,000 more Resto. I feel like Dom weighs better than Resto. That is why we have Dom, okay? You got healing conservation. This is gonna help with your priority heal, taking less power. That's about it on the important affinities. And then really this last one I don't really think matters too much, but I feel like this helps me get control less. So this is what we got with elect. This is what we got. So we gonna go to water now. With water, I'm only gonna go over like 3 of the armies, but I'm gonna make it very brief because we've used 13 minutes to kind of elaborate and go over everything. There's subtle differences between every power because every power has something unique about it. So I'll try to get to that. So let's see. Well, water's a little weird because water's the one of the 2 powers that don't get a reset on the 10K. It's gonna be nature and water. So because I don't have a reset on my 10K, I put a second 10K on the bar. I was already thinking of this when I made the other build, but I didn't want to be doing too much. But with talking with others, we figured out you're not doing too much. It just makes sense. So you're gonna run 2 10Ks. You're gonna fit them where you can. I also have a 25. My 25 is gonna feed my 10K. I got Starbolt. Like I said, if you're running 2 25s, you don't need Starbolt. But I am an overachiever, so I have everything possible to give super. Okay, I'm an overachiever, so that's why I got Starbolt on. You don't need it. You can 100% replace Starbolt for water with High Tide, and then High Tide will make the 10K give the 8-man bubble shield. You can 100% do that. But if you are going to do that, you're going to want to have a max Dom build because otherwise those shields will be dirt. Okay? The shields will be dirt. So if you don't want to run Starbolt, you can go ahead and and run High Tide. Now that we said that, we got Drown, Reset, and you can, mind you, you can clip the whole bar, okay? You can clip this entire bar, okay? You can literally clip the whole bar. So it's not like you're thinking about what to hit, you're clipping the bar, okay? And if you want, you could pick out what you want to reset. If you want, you have everything that you could reset on the bar. So if you want to reset Drown, reset Drown. If you want to reset the pool, reset the pool. If you want to reset Tempest Guard, reset Tempest Guard. All of y'all don't have Life Shield. Y'all have Bubble. I bought the event, so Life Shield is ways higher, and I'll pull that up on the screen like right after I get through this. But you can literally clip the whole thing. But like I said, if you want to get that Drown, you gotta pause a little bit, hit it, bam, just like that, and you're good to go. And now all of this stuff is on cooldown. And since that's on cooldown, you got more time to just think about priority heal, group heal, or just Starbolt until you could hit a 25. So that's why we did this the way we did it. You could literally clip the whole second bar. So I think that's more efficient than what I put out earlier, because I didn't really order the moves in a scenario where you could just clip it from left to right. And mind you, you can put any of the abilities you see me run anywhere, but this is probably gonna be best. Like I said, you're gonna need to run two 10Ks. Just to reiterate, two 10Ks, and you don't need to run Starbolt anymore. This is optional. You can run 225s instead, and this way, if you run 225s, you got 100% uptime on you healing. If you run a Starbolt, if you hitting Starbolt, you're not healing. So that's why I say you don't need to run it now. Oh, that too. Why wouldn't you need to run Starbolt? Well, if I take y'all over here to the supercharge tab, and if I'm able to just get my supercharge real quick, I could show y'all the difference between a 25 and Starbolt. This is gonna be short, right before I get into the shields. So I'm in combat, I pop a 25, 65, 65, 65, 65, and this is gonna be to the whole group, right? You get 6 of them, the whole group. Starbolt is for yourself, it's 65, 45. I mean, it's faster, right? But it's to yourself, so you could run it and it'll give the group super, and you get the heal, you get a heal dom and a health buff. So you could definitely do 2 if you really care. But like I said, me, I don't really need that. I'll be hitting my Starbolt, okay? Alright, so now that we went over the basic heal loadout, I'm gonna go over the shield. The shield one makes a little bit more sense. The second loadout is literally the same, except that we added bubble. Now, like I said, if y'all don't, y'all won't be able to run life shield because y'all don't have it. What you could probably run over life shield is you could run tsunami strike to get the reset on high tide, and you would run this in a more smart manner. You would kind of just probably clip it into prio or group, and that'll give you like a little extra heal. And then you got high tide for your 10K, so you got high tide 10K. This is an 8-man. This is a reset for your whole bar, and it's a personal shield. This is a shield for myself. This is a 4-man shield. This is a 4-man shield, and this is a 8-man shield. So this would be what you would run for your shield loadout. And then if I go over the battle heal briefly, I mean, I mentioned it in my water video. You can run Neo instead, but I'm going off of, I might actually have to be a healer before DPS when I'm battle healing. So because I'm going for being a healer first before battle healing, this is how I ordered the loadout. So on the top bar, I could clip the whole loadout. Now, like I said, just like earlier, it doesn't matter what you choose to reset. What you choose to reset is what you choose to reset. You can reset the soul list, You could reset the weapon buff, go for more damage. You could reset Tempest Guard. But the real damage is on the second bar, and the real healing is on the second bar. This top bar is more of a, it's a cooldown bar, and then you got the actual bar that you're going to be using to heal with and get your damage. And then right before I go over, I'm going to just go over the arts book and then heal, because you're trying to heal. You got all DPS gear. Everything is DPS. You're full spec in the DPS. Get your crits. 100 into resto. Rest in the might and power. And that's if you ain't got as many skill points as I do. At least 100 into resto to get the 10% rest in might and power. The iconics look like this. And then there's that weapon. And then the shield. I forgot to show the arts. But you need, you would want to run manacles. This is a 10% cooldown on all shields. It literally says that at the bottom. 10% on all shields. Book gives you 30% diamond resto. Stronger shields right there. And if you really want to be an overachiever, you'll have 3 backs. So then you could got a reset back, bubble back, a group heal back. And then we'll go ahead and go to the next power. And I just, looking at that character, I noticed that we need to fix the allies, but the only difference is instead of Black Adam, you run Oracle because you don't have a generator. You don't run a generator. Nature's a little funny. I don't have allies or arts on these ults, so I won't be showing you that. I'm literally just gonna show you the loadout, and I'm going to talk about it. You got your 10k, you got a 25, and then I got a 5k. The reason why I got the insectoid form on instead of another 25 is there is no second 10k on nature. There's literally no second 10k. Okay, so instead of a second 10k, what I thought was I just run a 5k, and then I go from that 5k into another 5k. Right? Let me talk about this just a little bit so you can understand what I was thinking and why this makes sense to me. So nature, again, the second loadout bar, you could do the whole bar immediately. And nature is a different heal power than the rest. Nature, for the prio to be a 8-man heal, you must have pheromones, and for the heal to be more potent, you need more pheromones, right? You get a pheromone from Savage Growth. You get pheromones from Metabolism. You get pheromones from Crosspaw. You get pheromones from Bloom. So that is 4 pheromones. And then Metabolism is a pheromone in its own heal over time. And then Savage Growth is a pheromone in its own heal over time. So if I go on the side and I look at my current effects, I have none, right? Savage Growth and pheromones. It's its own heal, and pheromones is part of the core heal mechanic. So you get two out of that. Metabolism is its own thing, like I said, and it's a heal over time. Right? Second bar, this is just a pheromone. I still have the pheromone from the first one. Let me see if it goes away yet. I gotta wait for it to go away so y'all can see. Alright, there we go. This is a pheromone. Alright, and then I'm gonna wait for it to go away. It's gonna be about 8-ish. It's like 8 seconds that you hold these pheromones. It's about 8 seconds if I remember correctly. What, like 8 to 10? I don't remember what number I figured out. And then this is a pheromone. So now that you know that you got four pheromones. Savage Growth has a separate heal over time from those 4 pheromones, and Metabolism has pretty much a separate heal over time from all of those, and then all together you get you get something that looks like this. 1, 2, 3. I did them in the wrong order, but it should be 4 pheromones, savage growth, metabolism, pretty much, right? And then you got the refresh. You can refresh all of that with flourish. That's why flourish is there. And you could the reason why the loadout is like this, like I said, is I want you to be able to clip from left to right without thinking about it. But if you wanted to think about your loadout, you could. But that's how you would clip it. It's literally as easy as that. You could just clip all the abilities. And then like I also said, you don't have 2 10Ks, so you got 1. So you need to have that 1 10K. You don't need Starbolt, but there's not really much else I'll have to run. So I could put a second 25 here if I wanted to. But for me, I like Starbolt. I like the way it works. I want to use it. If you didn't want to use Starbolt or that, you could technically run Roar. So the way Roar is gonna work is it's gonna be like I mean, I hate that they changed it, but it's gonna be a really good burst heal on 4 people, as long as you got all your pheromones up. It will use every pheromone you have. It'll remove everything, but it will give you a decent heal. So there's that. And you could absolutely put life shield anywhere in this build, but like I said, this is like an old character, so it doesn't necessarily have that. And then like I said, you don't got 2 10Ks, so I put a 5K. We got the insectoid form. Now we get to have a little bit of fun playing the game with nature again. We get to use the form again. We got this much utility. The second loadout bar is exactly the same as the first tree. The first side is pretty much the same. The only difference is that instead of a 10K, you got regeneration, and instead of Starbolt, I have Roar. It's not really much different. This is most likely best in slot. And you kind of have a lot of utility to play around with. You have a bunch of supers to give super. If you don't want to be in the insectoid form, you could always return back to normal. But yeah, you got like free reign. This power, there's no second 10K. They need to probably add one to the iconic bar, and then that would like save nature, but we don't have that. Let's go over Celestial briefly. I know I'm talking a lot, but like I'm trying to get you to understand how I think, and if I just put it out there and say nothing, you won't get what I'm thinking. By the way, when I made my electric and my other video, this is pretty much like the guideline that I was going off of, and I changed them when I posted them. I actually changed it because I thought it was simpler that way, but people did not agree with me. So if you noticed, I've pretty much taken the group and prio off of the second bar completely. Second bar is completely utility like I was already thinking, but I didn't put it out there because I don't know how good other players are, and I don't know how fast they can swap their bar to do what they got to do. But Celestial gonna be what we pretty much thought. You're gonna have your 4 main heals. You could run Starbolt. Like I said, you don't need to run Starbolt. You could literally put another 25. This character is flight, so unless I take off the speed ring, I don't even get my second super. But I mean, you could run the 25 there, or I'd probably run it like this because this one is a shield because I'm flight, and it would reset sacrifice. And then you got concentrated ground, which is probably the better 10K for shielding, and then you got a 25 to feed it. So 25 is gonna feed, and it's gonna give you the EOG buff, and it's gonna give supercharge to the whole group. Even though that supercharge is bad, I mean, if you have downtime, and you might as well, right? It just makes sense. You got downtime, you might as well have an EOG up. So you got that, and then you got your supercharge generator. You could clip your supercharge generator into your shield, and then you could clip all of that into Guardian's Light. That will look like this. And then you could just jump out of Guardian's Light. And you cannot clip anything in this first bar besides your group and your prio. That's the only thing you can clip. Well, I guess you could clip everything into the prio, right? Oh man, I so lied to y'all. You can actually clip all these into the 8-man. You just can't do it from the group heal. So you could do like that, like the virtuous light, consume soul. Those are clippable, and then you can obviously clip all of these with prio. But if you try to go from group all the way over this way, that's not gonna work. Okay, I forgot when I was celestial that was something I was trying to practice. But yeah, you would have to do it like so, or like so. The group heal gotta go. It has to go through the priority before you can hit anything else. And the no matter how you do it, you can always clip virtuous light. This is a straight clip. But just to reiterate, you could do that, jump out, group heal, prio, and then to this one. You know, it's very easy. And that's really it for Celestial. Celestial don't got too much, but you could definitely utilize two of these. I thought about trying to use these two. They changed them, and they just don't make sense. You don't do any damage, or you won't do that much. You could certainly put Benediction in there. It's probably the easier one because of animation canceling. It don't really have an animation, and you could clip in and out of it. You could run Death Mark. Technically, it is a shield, and when it blows up, it is a burst heal, but it's not ideal. So that's why I believe this is gonna be best in slot for Celestial. And then Sorcery is like probably the only power that I was getting a headache with because it had so much utility going on that I literally was like, what the hell is this power? I was literally like, bro, what is this power? It has so much utility. Like I'm so serious, y'all. Because you could do what you want to do with nature with this power in terms of like you can have the bird form. The biggest issue for me with sorcery is that you got all these abilities and a lot of them you cannot clip, right? So sorcery is a good power. You got two 10Ks, right? Don't mind that it says DPS roll. I was trying to make more than one heal build, but you know, you only got these 12 abilities, and I had to figure out how to set up the abilities. My regular loadout that I was using was looking like this. You got your 10K, supercharged generator, the reset, Starbolt, priority group, right? And then in the second bar, you got your shield, you got circle of protection. I'm in DPS role, so that's why I don't say circle of protection, but it would be circle of protection, your shield, you would have shard of life, you'd have a 25, the watcher, and then your second 10K. So you got two 10Ks, boom. It makes sense. Watcher is gonna be a passive heal. It makes sense. 225s, so that way you don't have to run Starbolt. It makes sense. So if you don't want to run Starbolt, you could run Invocation here. You could run Soul Will there. You could really put whatever you want. You can even put the Life Shield there. That's not for me. Okay, you can even put Offering there. That it wasn't for me. It might be for you. It wasn't for me. So y'all could try that out. But I like Starbolt. I like being an overachiever when it comes to building supercharge. I'm an overachiever. That is why I have Starbolt on everything. I'm an overachiever. You don't have to be an overachiever. What was I getting into? But all right, so you got two 10Ks. Makes sense. One 10K resets. The other one doesn't. Got supercharge generator. Makes sense. A 25. That makes sense. Starbolt. It makes sense. Prio group. Okay, makes sense. And then you got Watcher. Why Watcher? Watcher is going to be a passive heal. And if they didn't change Watcher, you used to have to run the Watcher to get the golden aura back in the day. And the golden aura was like I don't know, like a certain percent of increased healing. Hopefully they they do that again. But Watchers really just passive heals. And then we got a second 25 just to if we got any type of downtime. And these two are on cooldown. And this is not ready. We got another 25 to buff ourselves and just, you know, we got downtime. We might as well have a green on the floor. And then we got Shard of Life. Shard of Life is actually, out of all the abilities left, is your strongest healer sorcery. You do need to clip out of this, so you're gonna have to do Shard of Life into Boon of Souls, or Shard of Life into Prio, or Shard of Life into your group heal. The only abilities that you could really clip on this bottom bar is Circle of Protection into Boon of Souls, or Shard of Life into Boon of Souls. So this bottom bar is like a cooldown bar. You should only think of the bottom bar as like a cooldown bar. And then you can do your healing. You do your healing. And then you go to this one, and then you come back, you clip it, you know. So you don't really have to think about the second bar. And then the other setup that I have for healing was this one. It's like the same thing, but this one is a whole lot different. Like, you see, I got Soul Siphon. You've never seen anybody use Soul Siphon or probably the Renewal in like forever. I didn't really know what to run. Like, this one makes the most sense. This is the one that I would recommend to you. This one is like, it needs to be tested, because I don't remember Soul Siphon healing when a group member is hit. I don't remember this being working that way. This is probably the only one that I gotta work on. I'm recommending this one, but I'm gonna just yap about this one a little bit because I don't really know. You still got Circle of Protection. You still got this. I didn't really know what to put on the top. I probably should have put it like this, so that way I could still have my clip. So you could clip these three, you could clip these two, and then you could go from this, and you could just jump out. Even if you switch your bar, like, you'll still be in that channel animation. Okay, you'll still be in the channel animation for that. And then Orbiter is like literally the same thing. The only difference is I put the clip on the top bar. You gotta pick what you want to clip with. So I'm gonna probably clip Circle of Protection with Boon of Souls, and then I'll clip the Generator with Priority. You got a 25 to feed the 10k. You can absolutely I could have put Return to Normal on this, but like I said, I don't know how Soul Siphon works. If I wasn't running Soul Siphon, I'd do that. And then you just got passive heals. Watcher's a passive heal. Soulwell would be a passive heal. Circle of Protection would be your other passive heal. And then you got a shield, which is beneficial. And then you got the heals that you're spamming over the whole time. And then you got 25s that you could pop just while you have downtime. I mean, Sorcery was very tricky to figure out what to use. But that's what I got for all the powers. The artifacts would be the exact same across all the powers, except for water, because no other power besides water really got that shield build going for it. But if you did want to do that, you would pretty much put manacles on for the shields to be a faster cooldown, because I guess you could run 2 4-man shields or 3. You can run 2 4-man shields now and 1 8-man for some of the powers. The art setups would be the same. It's literally, I don't have Quizlet Wolfpack, but it's literally these with Quizlet. So that it wouldn't change. Or what? Sorry. Or you could, if you don't want to run Quizlet, you could run 1 2 3 4, and then you would just put the book art on it. So it's either you running these with the book, or you running Quizlet. Okay, book, Quizlet, manacles, Philosopher's Stone. I mean, that 4th art is not too important, but the loadout is, though. And then the allies would be really the same. It's gonna be Flash, Black Adam, John Constantine. If you're not running a supercharged generator, you're gonna run Oracle, Cyborg, Batman Who Laughs for the finisher, the 35. I mean, there's a few other options, but they're not too crazy to mention. It's mainly these ones. Cyborg, Oracle. And if you wanted to use the John Constantine for the healing field, I would do that after I use John Constantine. So like you use John Constantine in combat, and then you would just swap something else there. And I don't know which one you gonna be using. I'm gonna be popping supers, so you know, something like this, and then you're able to get that healing field. And then when John Constantine come back up, you're gonna have to be real quick, and you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to be real quick and figure out what you want to do. You gotta be. I mean, that's if you got downtime. I wouldn't recommend, but that's what. This is what I got for all the heal powers. Hopefully this helped somebody. If you got any opinion on how to make any of the loadouts better, let me know down below. I only make these type of videos to help everybody. I don't gatekeep when it comes to healing. Like I'm giving straight sauce. I do not gatekeep when it comes to healing. I only gatekeep when it comes to maybe how to beat content. But I don't really post content outside of healing on my channel. I got some SFFE runs coming up, and I'm doing the troll. I'm going over every troll power and every tank power next. I probably won't get to every troll power and every tank power till next like Monday or Sunday night. I'll go over every power, and I'll have a video for y'all up on that. I'll probably do them individually first, and then I'll probably do one video at the end going over everything. But yeah, if y'all got any opinions to help me help our community, let me know down below. Pull up to the streams, give me some advice. Like let's figure this out. This double loadout is a little tricky, but hopefully this blueprint of mine can help us have a good start to the double loadout. Thank you 3, because 3 is one of my league mates. He was streaming when the double loadout came, and I was able to kind of see something that I could try with healing. Thank you, Clear, and to all my other league mates that had an opinion about the healing. And yeah, I'll catch y'all when I make my tank and troll video.